The main reason I made Plasters and Shatters was to get used to Unity game engine after years of experience in GameMaker Studio. Thanks to finishing these two small projects, I now feel quite comfortable with this tool, and I've returned to working on games that are a bit more inspiring to me than these two simple puzzles. One of the games I'm actively developing right now is Immortus Temporos, a project I made for a recent WOWIE game jam, a contest in which you need to make a game for a given theme in just 3 days. The theme of that jam was Failure is Progress, and that just happened to be the topic I've been willing to explore for quite a long time. It all began with a game by Anatoly Loginovsky named Horror Girl Puzzle. Although the girls in this game are quite sexy and the puzzle mechanics are very unique, they are not what impressed me the most about it. What hit me was this mouse. No, not that mouse. Paul, what the hell are you doing, you pervert? I'm talking about that mini-game about a mouse. When I opened the chest by collecting a key and accidentally died on a landmine, I realized that the chest stayed open. This way I could avoid the hard way back and finish the level faster. This is the mechanic I later discussed with Anatoly himself, and we even started expanding on it together last summer. It didn't get finished, but the idea stayed in my mind, and the Failure is Progress game jam theme inspired me to turn it into reality. So here are the 3 main pillars Immortus Temporos is built upon. Every time you die, you instantly respawn at the spawn point and don't lose any progress. This means that destroyed hazards and collected pickups won't be affected when you respawn. If you run out of time, however, the level will restart and you'll have to try and beat it again. The third and the last pillar of what Immortus Temporos is all about are the time goals, which were added into the game after the initial 3 days of the jam. And now I'll just list everything that happened during the game jam in a chronological order. At the beginning, I made the player's movement very stiff and precise by allowing only left, right, up, down or diagonal movement with no in-betweens. Since it felt very unnatural, I tried to make it look smoother by adding a trail, and later I believe that I also made it less robotic. And what a game would it be if it didn't have any goals? The last thing I added on day 1 of this contest were these so-called breadcrumbs, the pickups you need to collect in order to unlock the exit. The first thing I did on day 2 was adding a possibility to teleport the checkpoints to your position. Immortal Temporos is a game for speedrunners who love to search for ways to break the rules and beat levels faster, and it seemed like this mechanic could provide players with many ways to do that. And I also made a lightning effect to show the players what breadcrumbs are doing when they touch them. Then I added a timer that shows the amount of seconds before the level resets, and the minimalist tiles, which I believe still haven't changed much. After that came the realization that maybe my idea is stupid and it will never work out. That thought came to me because the respawns used to look really weird if you were close to the hazards. Nonetheless, I kept going in that direction and polished the art a little bit. By the end of day 2, I had these 2 finished levels that are supposed to teach players the 2 main rules. A. You need to collect pickups in order to unlock the exit. And B. You can finish some levels faster if you die instead of going back. On day 3, I decided that I need to leave some lasting effect for players' actions, so from that day the pickups stopped disappearing and instead just turned brown upon interaction. I also tried to play around with the lightning effect. It used to look very weird, and I think that it's mostly just because it didn't fit the minimalist style of Immortus Temporos. In order to add even more impact to players' actions, I implemented the screen distortion effect, and then improved it a little bit with the help of smoothing. By further experimenting with post-processing, I found another interesting effect. It looks quite cool, but also gets sickening if you look at it for too long, so I removed it from the game. The last, and at the same time one of the most important changes, was adding persistency not just to pickups, but also to hazards. I made it so that when you die on a hazard, it becomes deactivated until the level resets. And that became one of the 3 key components I mentioned at the beginning of this video. It replaced the ability to teleport the spawn point anywhere you want to, because that didn't really work at all, and increased the amount of ways you can break the levels and complete them faster in a much more elegant way. By the end of that day I had 10 levels, transitions, sound effects, a simple level selection menu, and pretty much everything that this game needs to be finished. If you'd like to check out this version yourself, it's available for free over on my itch.io page. You can play it in a browser, but I highly recommend you to download a Windows version instead. The only part of the game I didn't have time to implement were the time goals and their interface. But beside that, the only important task left for me to accomplish is coming up with clever levels. As I mentioned before, these were just the first 3 days of Immortus Temporos development process, and I've been working on that game for over a month now. It takes some time to record these videos and voiceover for them, and then Pavel also needs to edit everything. So it's hard for me to post updates in a video format as soon as they happen. However, I'm a big fan of forums, and that's why I started my own blog on Patreon, where I frequently share everything that's related to my games, myself, and game dev in general. So if you'd like to find out what's happening behind the scenes of what I'm doing and impact the development of my games, I'd be happy to see you on my Patreon page. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Farewell!